Hello BIOL1009, this is an overview video for Module 1. So in addition to Module 1, this week you have some introductory activities that you need to complete, what we call Module 0, so don't forget about those. But right now I'm just going to kind of give you an overview of what we're going to be covering in Module 1. So this is going to be an introduction to biology and the basic chemistry of biology. The basic chemistry of biology, these rules that underlie the chemistry of biology really underlie and govern life on Earth as we know it, so it's essential to understand them if we want to understand anything about biology itself. To help you kind of orient yourself to the course site, I'm going to walk through where a lot of the information I reference is. I'm not always going to do that in these introductory videos, but for this first one I will. So we are going to start things off with Week 1, Introduction to Biology and the Basic Chemistry of Biology. This is what we call a module. That link will take you to the module and the activities therein on the course site. And you can see up top, Module 0 includes a series of activities related to setting yourself up in the course and introducing yourself to your team. I'll just run through those quick so we're all on the same page. They include introducing yourself on Flipgrid. Flipgrid's a fun online platform that we're going to be using a lot in this course to communicate with each other versus using little short recorded videos. This is your chance to introduce yourself, put your face to the name, and tell us a little bit more about yourself so we're not just communicating via text. In addition to that, we want you to kind of start talking to your teammates in the team discussion forum, post a little bit about yourself there. Excuse me. Then we want you to sign up on a team, basically we want you to sign up for team leader over the course of the semester. Every week will be a different member of your team will serve as the team leader, and the team leader is in charge of making sure assignments get submitted and discussions happen in the forums over homework and other activities that you might be doing with your team. Everyone in the team is responsible for participating and making sure that assignment gets in, so if your team leader is slacking, you have to step up. But in general, the team leader should be the person who kind of foments and pushes conversation over a course of a week. So sign up for that. You're going to submit that. You're also going to set up a team Google folder so that you guys can share and work on documents together. Then you're also going to be working on a set of team norms. This is basically a set of rules that will govern how your team interacts. How are you going to communicate with each other? How are you going to schedule your time over a week? How are you going to deal with potential conflicts? These are all things that you kind of want to work out ahead of time so that when they arise or issues arise later on the semester, you have something you can fall back on and use to kind of get your team through it. It's inevitable. It's going to happen to you. It happens to every team online, the best of teams, the worst of teams. It happens to every team on campus that works through as a team. It's just the nature of working in teams. And fortunately, working in a team has been shown to be one of the most effective ways to learn sciences, especially biology, because there's so much information, and teams provide you a chance to get feedback from each other and make sure that you're on track. So that's the setup for the course and the team activities that you'll be doing over the course. Then we get into the first module. The first module, typically when you go to a module, it's going to look like this. You have a study guide, which I'll open up here. You have the video, which is here. That's me. That's what you're watching right now. Then you'll want to start with the study guide, and I strongly recommend you review it before you do anything else in the week, because this is going to be the scaffold that really guides what you should focus on in the material that you're going to be reading. There's a lot of information that's going to be coming at you, and if you don't really have a way to focus on what to retain and what to study, then it kind of becomes blurred, and you can't, you might end up remembering something that's not as essential as another aspect that we want you to learn. So look at the learning outcomes, keep them in mind when you start doing the reading, and make sure that at the end of the week you go back and look at them again and can answer them comfortably. And if you can't, then you want to reach out to either me or the TA and try to get some further understanding about those issues or those concepts. Okay, so that's where you want to start. This week we're going to be covering a whole series of subjects related to biology in general. We want to know kind of the basic idea of, we're going to learn a little bit about the basic idea of evolution, this idea of vertical versus horizontal gene transfer. You're going to be learning about the kind of the purposes of taxonomy, the differentiate between the types of scientific approaches, hypothesis testing versus discovery-based science. These are sort of introductory aspects of biology that are that we want you to know before we really start to get into field-specific subjects. And then we're going to be talking a little bit about the chemistry of biology, looking at the sort of underlying physics of the atoms that are essential to biology, to life on Earth: carbon, oxygen, hydrogen, nitrogen. How do those molecules bond? How do they form? How do those atoms bond? How do they form different molecules that are essential to life? And then we're going to look in Chapter 3 at the four main molecules of life that include lipids, carbohydrates, nucleic acids, and proteins. So what are they? What different types are included in those groups? And what do they do? How do they contribute to the function and continuation of life on Earth? So those are the main subjects that you'll be focusing on this week. And like I said, we have our list of learning outcomes that will help kind of focus your studying of each one of those subjects. So let's go back. Once you've kind of had a look at the study guide, you want to start with the learning activities. That's going to start with the reading. You can do the reading in conjunction with these Learn Smart activities. These Learn Smart activities really guide you through the textbook, guide you through a chapter, assess how well you understand a particular subject by asking you a set of questions. If you get them wrong, it will ask you additional questions until you demonstrate more understanding. Or if you get it right, it will ask you fewer questions. So I recommend reading the chapter before doing the Learn Smart, but you can do them simultaneously. It's really up to you what you feel most comfortable with. Let's open one up and take a look at it. Typically, from week to week, you have 1 to 2 chapters. This week you have 3, but they're relatively short. So that pops you right into Connect, seamlessly connected. And then I have to preview it, but you'll have just a Start Activity button. But I just want to show you what it looks like. Lots of fancy graphics. And time delays. I'm downloading the book. So this is basically what it looks like. Well, this is the ebook. Excuse me. Yeah, this is the ebook. So this is what the ebook looks like if you have the ebook. It's essentially the same as the textbook. But I don't know why it didn't take me to Learn Smart. That shouldn't be an issue with you. Of course, if it is an issue with you, use their help button, contact them, or reach out to me. We'll figure it out. We'll make sure that this gets going for you. In the meantime, I'm going to return back to Canvas because I don't want to deal with that right now. So let's go back to Module 1. Learn Smart. The Learn Smart system is really, really slick. I wish it worked better for me there, but students love it. So hopefully you do too. Once you've done that, you want to then get in touch with your team and start discussing the homework for that week. Like I said in my other introductory video, the homework is usually 9 to 10 or 9 to 12 questions. So for the Module 1, this first week, you have your Learn Smart activities, your homework, your quiz. All of these are due at the end of the second week. We're extending the deadline because there's a lot of turnover in the first week. It's highly recommended you start working on them in the first week because you'll have a whole nother set of material due in the second week, but we give you that buffer because of the turnover in the first week. And then, of course, you have your lab activities this week. This week we're doing Lab 0. It's a very introductory lab, kind of just familiarizing yourself with how these labs are going to work online. You have a team discussion you want to get done. You have basically kind of just discussing how you did different things. And then we want you to submit a picture, and we want you to take a little quiz related to the lab. So read the lab overview, read the lab manual, then come back and complete these tasks. And finally, at the end of the week, we want you to do this summary survey to give us some feedback about the material. What do you understand? What don't you understand? And that gives us a chance to give you feedback. So when you're done with the week, look at the learning outcomes, look at the study guide, say, hey, I get this. I don't quite get this. What do they mean by, vertical versus horizontal gene transfer? Write that there, and then we will give you feedback on those questions, okay? And if you have anything, and if we don't get to your question and the feedback, reach out to us individually. We're happy to answer those questions specifically. Okay, that's a way too long overview of the week. Usually they're only 3 to 4 minutes. I apologize, but I wanted to kind of get into the nitty-gritty so you had some understanding of how these weeks work. All right, that's it. Good luck. If you have any questions, please reach out. That's what I'm here for.